Hi, this is Margo again. This is Sunday evening, June 11th, 2023. I hope everyone is safe and doing as well as possible. And this is the sea ice portion of my report for tonight, and I ended up doing some extra things in the first part of the show, and it went so long on methane and different things that I decided to just make sea ice a separate video. So we already saw, if you saw the first show from tonight, which was methane and climate weekly update, I went over a climate reanalyzer, and we did look at the sea ice here, and sorry about my voice. I think I used it up on the other video, but a lot of melting going on in the Hudson Bay, Baffin Bay, and around the Russia coastlines, Alaska coastline. Bering Strait is open, Sea of Okhotsk is open, and the ice is retreating around the edges here. So let's move on. And this is from the U.S. Navy Arctic sea ice thickness model, and the color ledgers on the right, and most of the ice is in some shade of aqua. From bright aqua is 2 to 2.5 meters thick, and the darker aqua moves into about 1.5 meters thick. The dark blue, which is what we're seeing up here in the Laptev Sea, is about 1.25 meters thick, and then the dark purple is 1 meter thick, and then it just thins out down to nothing as you move into lighter lavender. The green is 3 meters thick, and the thickest ice is about 5 meters thick, and that's the dark red. You're not going to see much of that. So here we are for today. And I'll just zoom in to where we can see it. Here's all this melting in the Hudson Bay. It's almost all gone, and it's down to purple and lavender for the interior. A little bit of aqua on the southern coastline. These tributaries are starting to melt, open up. This North Baffin Bay is open, and usually it's not open this early in the season, but it is now. This Mundston Gulf is almost all open over by Canada. The Bering Strait is open, just a little fringe ice there. This hole is opening up in this East Siberian Sea next to the New Siberian Islands. Here we're seeing a lot of open water around this Russia coastline in the Laptev Sea, and then it's thinning, dramatically thinning, coming on out. It's retreating in the Kara Sea. We're seeing open water around the Russia coast there. Novaya Zemlya is open, and we're seeing retreat on this east side, where you can see the jagged edges where the ice is melting, and then thinning all the way across. And we've still got a little line of green just above Greenland and Canada, a little hint of yellow and a little line of red right along the coastlines. So this is where we're at. Let's see, when is the first day of summer? Is it the 20th, 19th or 20th? So that'll be this week or coming up soon for official summer. But I would say everything's in high melt now, and the sun is up, and things are coming apart. And here's the 30-day animation. This was updated to today, so the data goes back 3 weeks, and the forecast goes out to next Sunday. So, well, let's just look at one part at a time. So this Hudson Bay, see, is just going down to almost nothing by next Sunday. These tributaries are melting quite a bit. You can see the ice flowing through. Let's see. This North Baffin Bay is really emptying out. And this thicker ice on the along this Canadian coastline, that's diminishing. And we can see this east edge by Greenland. See, it's diminishing mainly from the tip up. And then a lot of thinning, mainly thinning going on. Look at this Kara Sea. That's going down to almost nothing. Once it gets to lavender, I mean, once you're into 1/2 meter thick with a lot of open water in between the pieces and just not good ice. So that goes fast once it gets to that level. So here we are at the end of the model, so next Sunday. And we're seeing more, the darker blue, the navy blue now. That's a thinner color. See, it's moving further south. And this bright aqua is thinning way down, just mainly just above Greenland and Canada, and a little bit here in the Beaufort Sea, and more open water there. And here's the Beaufort Sea ice thickness. This was updated to the 8th, so that's 3 days ago. And at that point, we're seeing this is that Amundsen Gulf here that's open and thinning along this Canadian Alaska coastline, and open here on the west side of Alaska. This Chukchi Sea is thinning way down and thinning as it's coming across, and we're still seeing quite a bit of bright aqua and some greens here in the Beaufort Sea. But you see these lines, that's where the leads are opening up, where the ice drift pulls the ice kind of apart, and so the cracks in the ice are showing up there. And Here's the red, the dark red, the 5-meter thick ice just along the coastline, and just a little hint of red, bright red, which is about 4.5 meters thick, and some of these other areas, and then some greens. And here's the 30-day animation, and so this goes out to the 15th. Look how it's moving down into the blue here. So this is thinning out really fast. And then here's the Antarctic. Now they're working on a refreeze down there, and it's slow going. A little bit of thickening going on here in the Ross Sea, and a little bit of growth out, a little bit more growth out here in the Weddell Sea. The thickest ice, the majority of it is right here along this western peninsula. And if you saw part 1 tonight, we're seeing warmer temperatures over the Weddell Sea and also over this eastern part of the Antarctic. There's also an ozone hole opened up on this southeast quadrant as well. And the 30-day animation, this was updated to today. So the forecast goes out to next Sunday. So it's slow going on this extent. It's all dark down here, and we're not even going to bother trying to look at it on NASA Worldview. Their nighttime layer is very dark and hard to make out anything on it right now. But there's that. This is from National Snow and Ice Data Center, saying ice concentration for yesterday, wherever it's blue, that's where it's melting. And the darker the blue, the thinner it is, and the more it's melted, the more it's come apart. The brown line is the median. And see, we're way below median here in the Barents Sea and the Kara Sea. Also up here in the North Baffin Bay, we're below median. And Hudson Bay too. And we're, see all these blues, this is where it's thinning down. And there are cracks open, you'll be able to see open water and see it's melting around the North Pole already. And I showed that a couple of weeks ago. We were starting to see open water just, I think it was east or southeast of the North Pole a couple of weeks ago. Very early in the season for that. Okay, here's the extent as it's melting. This blue line is this year, the dotted line is 2012. Now it's kind of running parallel to this solid gray line, which is the median, and 2012 just dipped below this year, so we're just kind of tied with 2012 right now. We'd been below 2012 all year and all season, but now we're just a tad above 2012 at this moment. Here's the Antarctic, and the brown line is the median, so we can see we're way under it. Here's the refreeze chart, and this is record lows. Now last year was record low, and this year is even below last year. It forked off way back here in April. It forked off, and so we're still at record low on the refreeze on the Antarctic. Here's Greenland melting. This is for yesterday, surface melt, and because of the rain and snow, the systems that they've had in, we're seeing a lot of melting going on this west side, west and southwest edge, and a little bit on this eastern side too. Here are the cumulative melt days so far for this year, and you can see where it's starting to accumulate, moving from the light blue here into the aqua and darker aqua. And like this, the dark aqua is about 20 melt days so far this year. Here's the chart for melting. And so we spiked up right here. We're kind of even with the median, but we're at about, I would say that's about 8% melt right now. That's all of those. Okay, now we'll move on to NASA Worldview, and this is for today, Arctic. Here's another sea ice concentration model. Wherever you see the colors, it's melting. Once you get into greens and yellows, it's pretty much melted out. Just fringe ice left. But you can see here, see all these reds over the interior. That's where it's starting to come apart. Here we've got the greens along the Russia coastline. It's opened up, really. Starting to see some little holes open up here in this East Siberian Sea. And so on. Okay, let's go on to our satellite view. And we're still seeing smoke from the Canadian wildfires, and it's early in the season, but I think we're going to see some kind of smoke from here on out. You can see the smoke there. The gray, see. And this is over the Hudson Bay. And here, there's smoke. Alright, let's get in here. And I like to start here between Greenland and Ellesmere Island. This is the Lincoln Sea, and this look how this is melting out way far out. Look at these cracks. This is way too early in the season to be seeing cracks like this. Very early in the season. And here's Greenland. Look at this. See, this is open water. These leads are opening up so fast. And not many clouds here. Okay, let's go on back down. So this Lincoln Sea is really, I mean, the melting is spreading further out even here. Here's the nearest strait. We can see the ice melting in here. Look at this. It's not covered by clouds or anything here. Open water. And here's the bottom end. Look how that's breaking up. That's getting ready to move out. And here's this North Baffin Bay that's completely open. See? And moving into these tributaries. Look at this. See? Open, open. Let's see. Can't really see the Hudson Bay that well. There's a big cloud. Let's look yesterday. Here it is. Yesterday was a good view. Here's the ice in the middle, and that's thinning way down. So this, most of this will melt this week, according to the Navy model. Here's the open water. Go back to today, and then here's the Baffin Bay, and see there's just a little bit of ice here coming up towards Greenland, and then this Greenland coast is open. These are all clouds, and this is, and it's snowing right now, right up here. This is the clouds here. Okay, let's come on around. There's Iceland. Here's this east side. Here's the ice edge, and you can see how it's really coming apart here. Here's Svalbard. Got a bunch of clouds there. Here's yesterday. Here's today. Here's Franz Josef Land. Here's Novaya Zemlya. See the ice pulled away there. These are clouds. It's open down here. See, you can make out that's all open. And here's the North Kara Sea. Look how this is coming apart. See the blue when it turns kind of bluish green, it's thinning down and melting. So here's Severnaya Zemlya. Here's Komsomolets, where we see the methane coming back to life. And here's open water here, and right along here. Where are we? There's yesterday. Here's today. Okay, that's a better view. I forget what day I'm on. So right around here is where we're seeing the methane come back up on cams. Here's some open water, and see that's melting. Then coming on around. So this is open up here. Here's the edge. Look at this. So here's the Laptev Sea. This is all melted. And just fringe ice here. And there's looks like a little bit of the ice ledge left. See, here's the ice ledge around the coast. A little shelf. But see, that's melting. See the green color. And lots of open water here, see. That was the 9th, and then here's today. Look, you can see it busting up, moving out. And then here's New Siberian Islands. Here's the hole is right along here. See, right along here. See how it's breaking up? This is coming apart really fast. This is this East Siberian Sea. And in the seafloor here, where it's shallow, they've discovered huge methane deposits, clathrates, and they're bubbling up. It's bubbling up, and that's what's so worrisome about, you know, when this ice melts. There's no barrier for the water here to heat up. Okay. Here's today. See, that's opening up. Look at this coastline. See? It's opening. Here's the Bering Strait. That's open. See? No problems running any kind of ships through there. And look how this is melted out in the Chukchi Sea and on the Alaska side. See, that's open. And then this is open along the coast here. There's Barrow. Here's the Beaufort Sea. Look at this. No clouds. See here? This is where it's coming apart. Those dark spots are open water. This is some of the thickest or thicker ice, aqua and some green here. And then look at this coastline opened up. This is the Amundsen Gulf. We saw this breaking up in the last couple of weeks. And see the color? The green, that's melting. These tributaries are melting out. They're going to melt out fast. Once this green goes, I mean, this'll be pretty much gone. And then this is Canada. And here's Ellesmere Island. Now let's look. Let's go a little more in. Okay. See these leads opening. This is the aqua ice. See. Here's the North Pole. And just above it, look, you can make out the ice all around here. I mean, this is really a phenomenal picture. Normally it's not this clear right near the North Pole. But you can see it opening up. See the cracks opening? And see there. It's not solid by any means. There's open water. Open water. And see, it's all opening up here too. And then further east you can see, like right here, see, this is just west of Franz Josef Land. Look at this. So this line is 80 degrees north latitude. And see, that's breaking up inside there. So that's about all I think we can see for tonight. And so let's look at earthquakes real quick, worldwide. Okay, so we got 162. The number is low, but I already showed the main ones in my first show. Now I wanted to show 7 days all magnitudes. $2,194 this week. Look at this. A lot of activity along this Antarctic plate line. See? Well, all the lines, but see. We didn't have very many 6s. This one at Hokkaido, I showed that earlier. That came in today, and see, it's just off the coast. 123 kilometers deep, so that might have kept, I know that kept it from making too much damage on the land. I don't know if there was damage done or not, but with it being in the water and also that deep, that'll keep it from shaking so much on the surface and on the land. Hawaii. Okay, I wanted to show. Now, Kilauea was erupting this week, and it was swarming here in the mouth, in the crater. 82 this week right there, and like Hawaii had 142 total. I think it's calmed down somewhat, but you never know. And then we saw this 5.0 in central Alaska today. Then I wanted to show here, this is Mount Hood. This is a dormant volcano. The reporting station, they call it Government Camp, but it's Mount Hood in Oregon, and there were 30 earthquakes here this week, mainly right there at the crater, and they were small, but 30 is nothing to sneeze at, and the largest was a 3.0, and that started on the 6th. That started everything off at 3.0, and then 2.2 and 2.6, and then they go down to a lot smaller quakes after that. Some of these were at negative depth, meaning they were up in the chamber, and so that's a sign that magma's rising. Here's another negative depth, negative 0.4 kilometers depth. See, it's on the flank, so the magma's making it move. It's up there in there. So that was the 6th and the 7th. They had all those 30 earthquakes there. And we had movement here at the base of the Juan de Fuca plate and right around this fulcrum point at Ferndale, California. We had more earthquakes in Lake Elminor, 5 here, and more earthquakes here at Cold Springs, which is kind of a northwest suburb of Reno, 27 here, and that's not stopped. It's been going on for a couple of weeks now in this area, and that always concerns me when I see something on a continual basis, even if it's just 2 or 3 on a day-to-day basis. Let's see what else. What else was of note? The geysers, 254 this week. And here was one, 4.2, Lázaro Cárdenas, Mexico. And I'm not sure how far that was from Popocatépetl, but we don't normally see them right there on land in Mexico. Look at this. Oh, I missed this one this week. Here in the Gulf of Mexico, 3.3 off the coast of Venice, Louisiana. This came in on the 4th at, what was that, 9:16 p.m. Pacific time. All these times I'm telling you are Pacific time. We had movement spread out here in the Bahamas, just north of Cuba, 4.2. Near Duncantown, Bahamas, and a 4.9 near Les Abricots, Haiti. It's on the west side, just off the coast of Haiti there. And here's one up in Canada, 2.0, New Brunswick, Canada. Just kind of unusual places. So that's the finish up of my reporting for tonight, and I like to bring things back to a spiritual perspective. And we're reading out of the book of Job in the Old Testament of the Bible. And Job was tried by Satan for a long time and trying to get Job to rebuke God and turn his back on God, but he never did. So 42 chapters in Job, and so we're making our way through. So Job is a good example for us because he saw all kinds of adversity. And if you're going into end times, if you study Job and see how he handled things, but whatever he did, he never turned his back on God. He always kept praising him. And it served him well in the long run. Job chapter 35. Elihu spake moreover and said, Thinkest thou this to be right, that thou saidst, My righteousness is more than God's? For thou saidst, What advantage will it be unto thee? And what profit shall I have, if I be cleansed from my sin? I will answer thee and thy companions with thee. Look unto the heavens and see, and behold the clouds which are higher than thou. If thou sinnest, what doest thou against him? Or if thy transgressions be multiplied, what doest thou unto him? If thou be righteous, what givest thou him? Or what receiveth he of thine hand? Thy wickedness may hurt a man as thou art, and thy righteousness may profit the Son of Man. By reason of the multitude of oppressions, they make the oppressed to cry. They cry out by reason of the arm of the mighty, But none saith, Where is God my Maker, who giveth songs in the night? Who teacheth us more than the beasts of the earth, and maketh us wiser than the fowls of heaven? There they cry, but none giveth answer, because of the pride of evil men. Surely God will not hear vanity, neither will the Almighty regard it. Although thou sayest thou shalt not see him, yet judgment is before him. Therefore trust thou in him. But now, because it is not so, he hath visited in his anger, yet he knoweth it not in great extremity. Therefore doth Job open his mouth in vain, he multiplieth words without knowledge. Job chapter 35. So I'm praying for all of y'all, and dark days are upon us, and they're going to get darker, I'm afraid. But the good news is that Jesus is coming soon, and you can be rescued from this world. You can be part of heaven and part of the heavenly group if you give your life to Jesus Christ. And that's the good news, and you won't be stuck with the sin and deceived by Satan. You won't. You will be able to see beyond all of the deceit with the Holy Spirit in you, and be under God's wing. So if you haven't given your life to Jesus Christ, I recommend it. So I love you all, and I'm praying for you. And until next time, God bless you. Go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Good night.